Bow, bow, bow. All right, guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Mostly Darius. Well, I'm Mostly Darius, and this is the discussion. Today, we're going to be discussing Married to Medicine, Season 10, Episode 10, a very powerful message. If you have a Discord, feel free to join my Discord in the description below. We talk about everything from Bravo to music to pop culture, housewives, anything. And you can also follow the discussion on Twitter and on Instagram. And if you guys could subscribe, I'm trying to get to 500 probably in the next 3 to 4 months. I don't know, I'm not counting, but that's a goal I have. If you guys could do that, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, like and share to people that are fans of Married to Medicine and like watching recaps as well. All right, so we are going to get started. I decided to skip the opening scenes because the opening scenes weren't really, there wasn't really much going on in the opening scenes this episode. So I'm going to skip to the lunch with Toya and Simone. Toya and Simone talk about like cleaning their houses and stuff and how Toya's mom was basically very strict. And to make a long story short, she kind of got into how she wanted to start acting like her mom around the house, like basically telling them to clean up the house in a more aggressive way. Simone basically tells her like, no, I don't think you should do it that way. I think you should do it a little differently. Then Toya basically asks Simone, should she change her delivery when it comes to Eugene? Simone confirms, like, you should cut Eugene some slack, which we've all been saying. I even said that in the last episode. I was wondering, like, how can Eugene please? Because it seems like she's kind of not ever pleased with him or the efforts he makes. And it's just like, I'm not saying that Eugene's perfect, but a lot of people would kill to have a husband like Eugene. Like even at the end of the way he started talking about how women don't have equality, and we're gonna get into that later, but he's very aware. And I just love that for him. And I love that for his children. And I love that for Toya too. And I want her to love that for herself. Like, if you gotta plan a few date nights, then maybe you have to. I mean, Eugene is a hardworking man. I'm not saying that being a mom isn't a hard job. And I'm not saying that at all, because I'm not going to sit here and act like Toya doesn't have her own things going on, especially now that she's starting a wine company. But I do feel like, kind of got to pick your battles. So basically, Toya starts getting into the whole date night thing and how she's not satisfied, how he doesn't plan things. And then Simone suggests that she should plan date nights, like I just said. And Toya says she feels like doing that is a role reversal. And this is when I start getting into the whole gender roles thing. Like, it's killing our people. It really is, because it's just like, there's no way that you feel like there's a role reversal in your marriage because you have to plan a date night. That's like when girls say, well, when women say, and I do agree let me preface this with, I do agree that in a house full of men, the woman should not take out the trash. I agree. But that's like when people say, oh, I just took out the trash. I feel like a man. You feel like a man because you took the trash out? Like for real, that has to end in the Black community, especially. Like, certain things are not for men and certain things are not for women. Certain things are just for people. It's just simply put like that. There are men that love to clean and cook, okay? And there are women that love to clean and cook. It's not one person's duty. It's not. And it's starting to become weird. It's not even starting to become weird. It's been weird that we live and die by these dumbass rules that somebody just decided to make up one day in society. Like, I don't understand when we're going to understand that that's not working for us. It's not working for us, because now you're having problems in your marriage that is just like, is this really a problem? And I understand that this is something that Toya wants. She wants the date night to be planned and stuff. But then we go into how Simone, and this is why I love the fact that I could tell these people are friends off camera. Simone said that Cecil told her Eugene is scared to plan date nights because of how critical Toya is. Then Toya was like, Eugene used to enlighten me, but then in the same breath, when she was explaining to Simone the trip that he planned with her to go to South Carolina, she was mad that they were getting like history lessons. And that's why production rolled it back on her like, girl, you just said you want to be enlightened, and then you get mad that he takes you to South Carolina to get enlightened, basically. Simone clocked it too. Like, what? Like, this is why in my last review, I said I feel like Toya's definition of a date is go out and spend a whole bunch of money. Because that sounds perfectly fine to me. He took you to whatever that shit is called, the Buckhead, Butch and Chop Shop, Not Clop, Slop, whatever. I can't really find an issue with the things that Eugene is trying to do for her. Like it really just seems like she's just not satisfied, and I don't know how to. I don't have the answers. I don't know who has the answers. I don't even think she has the answers clearly. Simone gives her some advice and lets her know that she needs to have balance. Toya clearly thinks she has balance though, so that's like going in one ear and out the other. But then they wrap their lunch up. I feel like what I gather is that they agreed to disagree. I feel like Toya heard her advice, but I feel like, Simone was like, you either take it or you don't. But there needs to be a balance. And I don't know if Toya knows about balance. I don't know if she knows. I don't. Based on what we've seen on the show, I don't know if she knows about balance. Eugene seems to know. But I feel like and I would hate to say he be letting her run over him, because I don't think that is the case at all. Like, I don't think that's the case at all. Because I know when it comes down to it, we've seen Eugene have to put Toya in her place. Like, we have seen that on the show. So I just think that he loves her, and if it's not necessarily hurting them too much, then it's not really a big deal. But I do feel like Toya really should calm down or tone it down when it comes to him, because she could end up like driving him crazy, or she could make him start to resent her for the way she's acting, like basically kind of ungrateful. But I do want to say that I get it. Like, if she wants something in her marriage, then that's what she wants. Who are we? Who are we? Who are we? And they wrapped the lunch bill up, and they were joking. Toya was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, you gonna pay for this. And Simone was like, that's so Atlanta of you. Next scene, we get to Dr. Heavenly with T.S. Madison. I enjoy watching that. I just said in my last recap, like, how many times are we gonna get Jackie and Debrat? Because that's the only, I could be wrong, I could be 100% wrong, but I feel like that's the only celebrity cameo that they have been frequently showing us throughout the season. It's like, come on, let's get it on somewhere else with somebody else, because it's no way that Debrat is the only cameo y'all got this season. But it was nice to see Heavenly bring T.S. Madison on the show, or film with her rather, because I'm not gonna say I think Heavenly's ignorant, but I just didn't think that she had it in her to be open-minded enough to work with a trans patient. I didn't think that, because, some people just, and I hate that the fact that I have to say open-minded, but some people just treat them like they aren't human. And Heavenly seems to get that from what she was saying in her confession. It was like, they just want to be accepted. And essentially everybody wants to just be accepted. I really don't have much for this scene. I think it was self-explanatory. I think it was nice to see T.S. Madison on the show. I like when we see Dr. Heavenly do people's teeth. It seems like, yes, the other doctors, what they do is definitely important, like having babies and stuff, but I feel like when you're alive, your teeth and your hair and your skin, like, those are the things that drive your confidence. So I feel like it's always good to see people with a different glow when they leave Dr. Heavenly's office or when she's done with a scene. It was pretty cool to see. We get to the OBGYN scenes. First, we start off with Dr. Jackie's office, and her patient was like, oh no, like, she about to tell me I'm fat. It's like, nah, her patient was definitely covering her head though. She was definitely ashamed of what may have been coming out of Dr. Jackie's mouth. I want to say, because I just said in the last episode, I never hear Jackie calling the brat obese. I just hear her tell her to eat right, eat right, eat right. But I tend to forget sometimes that Dr. Jackie did suffer from breast cancer, and, obesity does lead to breast cancer in some cases for Black women. And so I'll cut her some slack, because it does seem like she's being very judgmental at times, but I really can tell maybe she just really cares and she's trying to see better for her patients. But she comes off very harsh. But the truth can be harsh. The truth can be harsh. And so, ultimately, I'm not mad at this scene. It is what it is. I can appreciate her for trying to condone her clients to be healthy. That is very important. Then we get into Simone's office. They started talking about Ozempic, and she said that it's a diabetic drug that everybody's out here using for weight loss, and there's a shortage, and now diabetics don't have access to it to help lower their blood sugar. But then she also says in the same breath that if she got fat, she would take it. And I appreciate the honesty, because, a lot of people wouldn't be honest like that. A lot of people would act like, a lot of people would advocate for something and then in the same breath take it like she says she would, but then keep it a secret. So I have to say, I can respect Dr. Simone for saying that if she did get fat, she would take Ozempic, because not a lot of people would admit that. A lot of people out here are still lying, acting like they're not on Ozempic, and some of y'all, we see right through y'all, and some we don't. And even the ones we see through, we understand, like, you don't want to be fat, you are not self-confident, you have low confidence, and you want to change it about yourself. Just admit that, though. Just admit that. If you admit it, then people have more respect. When you lie about it is when it's a problem. But she told her patient to basically make sure that she has a clear plan with her pregnancy because Georgia has a heartbeat bill. And the heartbeat bill is that once a baby has a heartbeat above 6 weeks, it's illegal to have an abortion. And I really appreciated the education in Dr. Simone's scene because I feel like when I watch Dr. Simone, I really do learn a lot about the whole OBGYN stuff. I'm obviously not a woman, so I don't know like how women's bodies work, but it was nice to see her talk about it and give good advice. Dr. Simone can be loud, she can yell and stuff, but when it comes to even her family or her patients, based on what we see on TV, she seems like a really caring person. So I will say that like she really does give me that vibe in real life. I could tell that she might be the same way. So then we get Toya and Eugene going to the dentist with their kids, and their kids are like the funniest thing ever. And I also found it interesting. Well, I didn't find it that interesting that they didn't go to Dr. Heavenly, but I kind of did just because, you know, they're on the show. But hey, we can't tell them who to take their kids to. And I don't even think Toya and Dr. Heavenly are all that cool. Oh my God, that reminds me. Toya definitely tweeted something about Dr. Heavenly, and we'll talk about that at the end of the recap when we talk about Watch What Happens Live, because I have a few thoughts on that. Their kid, Ashton, he talks the most in the scenes. The other kid talks too. I can't remember his name, but I don't even remember Ashton's name because that's the one I was talking the most last night, and he's really funny. He says that nobody likes smart kids. They all like, I think he said bad boys, but Toya said jocks. And he was like, nobody says jocks anymore. Like, I love seeing little kids clock their parents sometimes. It'd be so funny. It'd just be cute. It's just cute because you could tell it's done in a respectful way. Like, they're just obviously joking. But then Eugene speaks on how he was a senior and Toya was a freshman when they first met. And then he joked about it being statutory rape. And my jaw dropped. Ooh, can I even say that word on YouTube? He joked about it being statutory. Like, what? And my jaw just dropped because I'm like, he's in there smiling about it. But you know, I will say, back in those times, stuff like that was normal. If you do something like that these days, that is not going to fly. Also, I don't know, was he talking about a freshman in college or a freshman in high school? I can't remember. Either way, people would still be clocking that these days because what are you doing? They then start talking about like partnership, and Eugene says he feel like a partnership should be 50-50. And this is where I go back to Eugene seems to know what balance is. Toya feels like because she had the children that there's certain things that she doesn't have to do. Like, I get it, but I don't get it. I don't get it, love. I don't get it because what does that have to do with you playing in a day night because you push the children out your body? Like, that is absolutely insane to me. Like, I don't get it. That's not progressive at all. And if she keeps this up, like I said, he might end up resenting her. He really might. Because this is just straight ungratefulness. This is just straight blasphemy. Like, what are you even talking about? Toya reflects on what life may be like when the kids go to college. She says that it makes her wonder what her and Eugene had in common. Eugene said that he's ready for the kids to leave. This is why I will say, out of all the couples on Bravo, well, on this show specifically, Married to Medicine, these two are my favorite because they open up conversations that have depth. I'm never going to sit there and act like one of the other is perfect, but what I can say is at least they tried their best. They literally do try their best. Like, they do whatever they can to make something work. And I can appreciate that, especially seeing it from a Black family. Like, they're not afraid to have conversations and actually come to a resolve versus agreeing to disagree or like letting stuff be what it is, because you need that, like Simone said earlier, you need that balance. You just do. It's never going to work, especially if one party isn't taking accountability. It's not going to work. But you know, that was a cool little quick scene. Then we get into Dr. G and Sweet Tea going to see about the endometriosis. This is what I said. I said, Gregory really seems like this girl. He's seemingly more concerned with her health than just her having a baby, but ultimately, I feel like his end goal is the child. He's very involved with the doctor appointment. And I really do feel like Greg really loves this girl. Like, he really likes her. Like, you know, like, he wants to have the baby, but he's also concerned about her too. Like, nobody wants to see their partner not doing well. So I do think that there is some true love going on, and on his side specifically. The doctor says that the fibroid is growing, and she says it would be simple to remove it. They speak on what the surgery would be like, and then Sweet Tea says she does not want to wait 6 months to have a child or to have sex, and she wants to get it done as soon as possible. And I'm here for it. Like, let's get it going. Let's get the ball rolling, because I would love to see them have a child. Like, I love when women can have children, because especially knowing how much that takes from a woman, like, you know, a lot of women feel like their womanhood is gone when they can't have children. So I want that for Sweet Tea. I want her to be able to have a child and stuff. Regardless of what her motive may be, that we think based on the stuff that she said on the show about the money and all that stuff. I do feel like this tugs at her heartstrings because it's her body at the end of the day. And who knows if before she got with Gregory, she tried to have another child. Although she did say that it was her first time finding out on camera just like us. Who knows? Because we don't know what we don't see. So guys, sadly my microphone just died because I forgot to rip off the sticker from the bottom, so bear with me because I only have a few scenes left to go anyway. Anyways, I left off talking about Dr. G and Sweet Tea, and basically what I was saying is I hope they are able to have a happy and healthy pregnancy. And then we move on to Dr. Jackie filming her public service announcement commercial, and Dr. Simone and Dr. Heavenly show up first, and Simone's like, you can go, girl, because you love attention to Heavenly, and Heavenly's like, you sure, girl? What up, papa? I can go. And then she was like, Jackie, is my hair good? And I was like, oh, she must be taking notes from when Toya just told her a few episodes ago, girl, come here, let me fix your hair. But then again, I also feel like Heavenly doesn't give that much of a fuck, like, girl, but it is a commercial, so she probably want to make sure her shit is looking right. I don't blame her. It was so funny because Heavenly was sitting there trying to say the highest maternal mortality rate, and Jackie's like, the nation's highest maternal mortality rate. And it was just funny to see Heavenly mess up like that. Well, it wasn't funny in the sense that she's messing up, but it's funny that she was making a joke out of it because it was just like, that is a little tongue twister. Like, I almost even got tongue tied saying it. Is that even a thing? Maybe this isn't tongue tie, maybe it's lip tie, because the nation's highest maternal mortality rate. Oh, but maybe I can say it. Shit. Simone started questioning if Dr. Heavenly can read, and then she was like, she's the master at pushing buttons. Don't she have a degree and a master's in something else? And then she was like, she started bringing up her YouTube channel. She was like, I don't know how you can do this there, but you can't read here, blah, blah. But it was funny because I also feel like what Dr. Heavenly does on YouTube is totally different from reading the commercials. Like, most of the stuff she says, she be going off the dome with that shit. So, whatever. But I get the joke, Simone. It was fun. It was a cute little joke real quick. Sweet Tea and Toya walk in, and Dr. Heavenly's like, girl, make sure y'all read before y'all go up there reading the teleprompter because whatever. And Toya assures her, she's like, oh no, honey, I'm fluent in my speech. I know what I'm going to do and I'm going to say. Then she snatched the papers out of Sweet Tea and Toya's hands. That shit had me crying. Like, this is what I mean. Heavenly is not a serious person sometimes. Like, Heavenly can be serious, but overall she's not serious, and I think that's why we love Dr. Heavenly, regardless if you don't like her or not. She's messy, she's this, and y'all want to call her evil, whatever y'all like to call her. She is entertaining as hell. Like, she is good TV. I didn't see Phaedra walk in, but apparently Phaedra, she just appeared out of nowhere. Phaedra's talking about something. I thought the housewives were feisty. They are. The doctors are just a little more educationally feisty. But both parties are feisty, Phaedra. Don't get it twisted. Dr. Simone tells Toya that she needs to get out the seat because she came late, and she's irritated with Toya's lateness because Toya wants to jump in line like she's the most important thing here. And what I said about that, that's just the Aries for you. Aries, any Aries think about it. They feel like they need to be the main character. Most Aries, I'm not gonna say all Aries, but most Aries feel like that. They need to be front and center. They need to have all the attention. That's just them. That's just them. And they're a fire sign, so it's just like whatever they do is gonna be maximized times 10. And then Jackie lets them know her and Simone aren't playing with lateness because they actually live the life of patients dying while trying to have children. And I love that Jackie told everybody, I told y'all to bring y'all white coats, but y'all can just throw them away. Just be a mom today. Like, this is really what it's about. It was good to see that, she was taking initiative to do this. I still side-eye based on the live she did because it's just ironic, especially now that Kamala Harris is involved. And it's kind of like a lot of people are saying it's giving PR, and it's just like, it's a lot people are saying. It's a lot of things people are saying. Sweet Tea, while they're in the back waiting, Sweet Tea reflected on how sad it is that people die and how she really wants a baby, and everybody gives her sympathy and love. And this is where I start to give my sympathy and love to Sweet Tea because feel how you want to feel about her. Maybe she did get with Dr. G for a come up, but at the end of the day, if she's trying to have a child and she can't have a child, that's nothing to play with. Like, that's her body at the end of the day. So I definitely feel for her, and I feel like this being in this commercial really hits differently for her because her trying to have a child can go one way or another. So I think that a lot of us viewers need to sometimes put the TV aspect of it to the side and really realize, like, this is her life still at the end of the day. Even though we have our opinions, it is what it is. Like, that's nothing to play with. So then we get to the last scene. This was a short episode, kind of, or maybe it was just boring. like, I don't want to call it boring, and I'll get to that at the end of the review. How about that? So then we get to the husband scene at the Cigar City Club, and I always wonder how often they hang out with Gregory after they stop filming, because when him and Quad broke up, that's obviously not a lot of couple trips going on and stuff, and they do film the show, but they do have lives outside of the show. But I just always wonder how often they hung out with Dr. G. They ordered drinks, and Eugene assures Dr. G that a martini is not a girl's drink, and this is what I go back to with the fragile masculinity. And it's not that, I was like, it's not that deep to have a colorful drink coming from a martini glass. Like, is it that serious? Like, this is this is why I respect Dr. Eugene, because he is not afraid to be him. Like, he doesn't see stuff like that to be that serious. Like, it's not that serious. It's not that serious. But whatever. We get into Dr. Alicia's husband. This is what everybody has been waiting for. Alicia's husband says that she's a dentist first, but she kind of put it to the side. He said he's from Nigeria, and he says that if your woman isn't listening to you, it makes you look like a weak man. And he says women have been running things for too long. I guess he was talking about in America, and he refuses to cut his nutsack off. Damon checked that and said he sounded like he was saying that everybody at the table don't have nuts. And come on. Everybody knows Dr. Heavenly is mad submissive when it comes to Damon. Like, she calls that man daddy. But at the end of the day, Dr. Heavenly is going to stand on her own 2 feet. She's going to stand her ground. Like, it don't matter. Like, she still has a mind of her own. I can't see her. But you know what? We don't know the ins and outs of Dr. Heavenly's marriage. So I can't even really say that, right? I can't even really say that. We just know that she is submissive. But I get the feeling that she's not, based off of Dr. Damon saying that. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Just like Dr. Eugene said, that doesn't make any sense. I was just thinking that Alicia's husband is fucking delusional. He was like, oh, men need to have a voice and take control back. Which America you been living in that you love to live in so much? Because if we living in the same America, men control everything, down to women's bodies. So what are you talking about? Like, this is see, and I don't want to get too deep into that, because I feel like a lot of black men want the same power that white men have, but they don't want to say that. But it's like, when you look at the power they have and what they do with it, why would you want that same power? Like, what do you mean that you feel like your woman having a voice is taken away from you? Basically, that's what he was saying. And I don't understand. Like, I don't understand it. Eugene checked him and started talking about the inequalities of men and women, and I really appreciated Dr. Eugene for that, because that is the type of stuff that we need to hear from black men when it comes to defending women and stuff like that. I feel like that is essential. That's what's missing. He talked about that black women don't get paid as much as black men, and that right there alone, he ain't have to say nothing else. He didn't have to say nothing else. And beyond black women, just women in general don't get paid enough more than men. We'll see more about the next episode. This episode was kind of short. I'm not going to say it was boring, but it could have been a little spicier. But, it's like a warm-up to what we're going to get next episode, which I am ready, because why was Toya minding Phaedra's business and worrying about, like, their situation with her kids' parents? Like, y'all want a Phaedra, y'all gonna get her. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I said this a few episodes ago, how when Phaedra and Toya were talking about, like, having a man, and Toya's like, oh no, because you need a man, and Phaedra was like, no, you don't. And I was just like, this is gonna be what separates them two from each other, because Phaedra don't need a man in the way Toya needs a man, and I'm gonna just leave that at that. I do want to get into some things that happened on Watch What Happens Live yesterday too, because Phaedra was on Watch What Happens Live with Candace from Real Housewives of Potomac. Andy introduced her and said she can murder you and plan your funeral. And they started talking about the Quad situation, which I talked about in the last episode recap. Phaedra says that she loves Quad and she likes Sweet Tea. She's new to the group and she doesn't have an issue with Sweet Tea. And it's not like Dr. G was cheating on her with Sweet Tea. It was a clean situation. And she said that she spoke with Quad about it already. And Candace was like, justice for Quad, because she didn't like how they kicked Quad out the group. And Phaedra said she didn't really have a vote in the group. And she said she tried her best to help Quad with the group, like invite her to the bachelor party and the whole funeral apology. And you know what? That funeral apology, like I said in my last recap, had Quad really taken accountability for how she hurt other people, that funeral apology, although it was extra as fuck and it was good for TV, it may have solved a few things. But she got out the casket like, whatever I did, I'm sorry. That's not an apology. And I feel like I feel like after that, that's when they really had enough with her. Like, that was funny though. That was funny. That was hilarious. But honestly, it's only but so much Phaedra could do. Like, let's be clear, this is a job, and I don't think Quad and Phaedra were all that close. Just like I don't think Phaedra was that close with the other ladies. Like she said, she's new to the group. What did Quad want her to do? Like, for real. For real, for real. Because it's not like she came on here as Quad's friend. She's a full-time cast member. Like, as is Quad. But, like, what you want Phaedra to do? The other girls just didn't see it for you. Like, I don't know what y'all want her to do. And then fans asked, was Toya accurate when she said Phaedra switched her flight to Napa because she didn't want to fly in with Quad? Phaedra says, yes, that's right, Phaedra. Tell the truth. Because they love to say you a liar. So you need to start telling the truth. Go ahead. And this is why I said in my last recap, did Quad feel some type of way because she didn't fly in with her? And did she, like, possibly know that they were going to do that? I don't know. But I do feel like, you know, and I hate to say that, but it's a dog-eat-dog world out here, especially in them Bravo streets. Okay? Let's be clear. And I feel like, you know, Phaedra was like, at the end of the day, like, this is really y'all friendship and y'all group. Like, I can help out as much as I can, but I really can't help that much. They asked Phaedra, since she was the closest to Quad this season, is Quad offended that she's still friends with the ladies, including Sweet Tea? And Phaedra says she's not mad with Quad, but maybe Quad is upset with her. She doesn't know, but the phone works both ways, and she could see both sides of the situation, but she gave Gregory to the streets, so it has nothing to do with her. And they asked her a few other questions, like when the last time she seen Portia, and who's the her biggest housewife shade rival. She said Nene, but Candace thought it was Kenya. And yeah, that's pretty much that for this episode. I am very interested to see next episode, because when Phaedra get a whiff of what Toya had to say about Apollo not being at the kid's birthday party, I can just imagine what she's going to say, because it's just like, mind your business. Mind your business. You don't know what goes on. Like, mind you don't know if Apollo got a whole other party planned for them. Whatever the case, mind your business. Now, Dr. Heavenly tweeted a day ago, I just watched the next 5 episodes of Married to Med, and may I say, well done. We have what you want and what you need. I can't... We have what you want and what you need. What, Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie getting into it again? And Toya and Phaedra now about to clock in and get into it too. Dr. Heavenly is a trip. She said, I can't wait for you guys to see. Thank you all for supporting us. And then Toya quoted it and said, the other day you were saying we needed other people back on the show. Are you bipolar? And then she at the Carlos King. Now, Toya, that was insensitive to sit there and ask if she was bipolar, because it just simply was. Like, to sit there and try to throw that out as an insult is not funny, especially because a lot of people and a lot of viewers that you have probably deal with that too. Like, watch what you say. And your husband's a doctor. You should know better. But this is the same one that called Lisa Nicole's husband gay. So, whatever. And I do agree with Heavenly that like a few more people are needed on the show, because this episode was a little dry. It was. Sorry. But you guys, thanks again for watching this recap. If you can follow the discussion on Twitter and Instagram, that would be greatly appreciated. And like I said, if you want to talk about more Housewives, Married to Medicine, Bravo, pop culture, music, join my Discord in the description below. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, because we're trying to get to 500 subscribers maybe in 3 to 4 months. So that's my little goal right there. And leave your comments on what you want to see in the next episode. Give me your thoughts about all of that. And I'll see y'all next time.